Hello, friends. If you're a highly sensitive person, the recent violence in the world can feel unbearable. It might even be that you're more affected than people around you, and you might be wondering, how do I stay compassionate without falling apart emotionally? Recently, I asked my community of sensitive women about how they were coping with this socioeconomic time that we're in. And this particular question stood out for me today, and I want to share it with you. These are the responses, by the way, from 113 women. Here's the question. When you encounter aggression, cruelty, or abuse, personally or in leadership, what is the hardest for you? Here are the top 4 responses. 56% said feeling powerless to change things. 52% regulating their nervous systems. 42% protecting their sensitive hearts as highly sensitive people. 40% are feeling anxiety and overwhelm. And then I wanted to add this statistic as well. 35% don't want to become cynical or hardened. Like a lot of you, I don't want to have my eyes closed about what's going on in the world. Also, I don't want to be the person who's curled up in my bed in tears, and I don't want to be the woman who is numb. And this is the painful dilemma of highly sensitive people. We don't want to close our eyes to the suffering of people in the world, but we also don't want to live in anxiety and overwhelm or become numb. So how do we as conscious people stay compassionate without emotionally collapsing? At the end of the video, I'm going to share with you the 3 things I do to stay compassionate and grounded in the world at the same time. Now, in earlier videos, I didn't talk about world events, and the reason I am now is because I'm starting to see something happen. I'm watching a vision I received 3 decades ago come to life. And it's a vision with the potential for a scaling of inhumanity that I hope we never see. Particularly, the vision was here in the US, but we're also seeing elements of this globally. And I share that vision in a recent video called 2 Possible Futures. You can watch it if you'd like to get some ideas about how we as sensitive people can navigate from one very destructive future to one very, very hopeful future. Now, how do we navigate individually, right, amongst these acts of inhumanity? I've been intrigued lately by what other people are doing. Like my husband. He suggested we watch a documentary by Rick Steves. Some of you may know Rick Steves, the world traveler, right? Well, he went to Iran. And in the Facebook post that introduced his film, Rick Steves said, "I think we should get to know people before we bomb them. Don't you?" That grabbed me. So I sat down and I watched the film with my husband, and he talked about how he was nervous and didn't know what to expect. But over and over, as he was interviewing people, they were saying to those of us in the US, they want to know us and get along. We love Americans, they'd say. Governments may clash, but we as people can be friends. And Rick Steves, as this self-appointed ambassador, right, told them how much we want to understand them, that we know it's important to create bonds of friendship. The world is full of people that want to connect. And it reminded me that the world belongs to all of us, not just a handful of world leaders. I also heard Rosie O'Donnell in an interview talk about moving to Ireland to take care of herself and her daughter. She's still very vocal about Trump's policies, but she made a conscious decision to take care of her nervous system and her daughter. And isn't that how it is? We all have to determine our own best ways to take care of ourselves and our families. As a sensitive woman living in a sometimes insensitive world, I've found 3 practices that help me stay compassionate without losing my center. And perhaps these ideas can serve you too. The first thing that I do is daily, I hold myself in deep compassion. not just for any emotional pain I'm feeling, but I also hold myself and humanity in her greater potential as loving beings that respect one another. And I do that with a holding meditation that I give away for free, and you can download that in the link below. Secondly, I remind myself that wounded people make wounded choices. And that deepens my commitment to helping people heal the wounds of their childhood, their ancestry, their past lives, so they can be empowered in making greater conscious choices. And the third thing I do, and this is the tough one, I'm still working on it. I grew up in a family where we did this a lot, so it has to be a very conscious act for me. And that's letting go of the habit of complaining. What I'm doing to help me let go of that habit is I replace it with compassionate action. And lately, my compassionate action has been holding in compassion for the parents and families of the 153 primary school children in Iran, the young girls, the teachers, and staff who were killed on the very first day of bombing when their school was bombed. It seems so strange to me that military calls innocents that are killed in war collateral damage. That's not how parents think of their children. They're not collateral damage when they're killed in a war. I can't imagine a more important time to reach our hearts out in friendship, in compassionate solidarity, than holding in love the family members of the children, and to bless the precious little souls of the children as they cross over into the arms of their God. You can join me if you'd like in writing words of compassion and condolences to their families below this video. Now, the families in Iran might never actually see our words, but they will have been written and sent from our hearts, and that matters. And if compassion ever feels overwhelming for you as a highly sensitive person, I periodically teach classes on how to stay compassionate without getting lost in someone else's pain or experiencing compassion fatigue. So when you download my free holding meditation, you'll get periodic invitations to classes. Helping you get the resources you need is my commitment to you. Thank you for being here with me today. I love you, and I'll see you again soon.